regardless of what you're hired for, if you're able to tell your mind, yes, think broad, think deep, doesn't matter what your educational background is, your suggestions will always be valued here. If you're in a place where you're able to do that to your mind constantly, that's the best example of workplace independence for me.
When I started out my career, I was very hesitant to ask questions, fearing people's judgment, and being very uncomfortable with the level of knowledge that I come with. But as I progressed, I realized everyone's learning anyway. We all need to ask questions to learn. Even the world's most richest and most capable or smartest people, they still ask questions and they still learn. And that's where I take my inspiration from, to just ask, and only then can you learn. So growing always comes from learning at the end of the day.
When you're new into your role, you're more or less expected to do the tasks that your superiors assign to you, right? And that makes sense. You don't know too much about the industry, and by doing these tasks, you learn more and more and gain the experience. And as you grow in your role, you slowly get to take the calls. So, in my mind, I'm more of a doer than a leader. I'm slowly transitioning into.
So you may find a manager who is calm and composed while everything around them is in utter chaos. Or you might find someone who panics and second guesses and shouts and yells when there is a high stress situation. You may get a manager who micromanages, or you may find someone who is so vague in their communication that you have to start learning how to read between the lines. So you'll find all kinds of people, and if you're really lucky, you'll find a manager or a leader who inspires, who makes you think more deeply about your work, who motivates you, and who helps you discover your life's purpose.
Independence is scary sometimes because you have to take responsibility and you have to take accountability. And these are two things that people often shy away from. But as you progress in your career, it is something that you own with confidence, because you're not afraid to make mistakes. You're not afraid to shy away from challenges and any hurdles that come your way. You own the independence that is given to you as a privilege to do better.
Disagreements happen primarily because one party doesn't know enough about the stance of the other party. If everybody keeps their ego aside and realizes the answer to the problem that we are facing is not in me, is not just in you, is in all of us working together and probably bringing a third perspective from outside and collaborating to find a solution.
The answer is absolutely. Older people are also reluctant, senior people are also reluctant to expose themselves in that way. An organization must create an environment where people can take risk. And this means they can express themselves without the fear of immediate judgment or lasting retribution. And the best way for an organization to achieve this is to build that into the practice of the senior managers themselves.
Show up every day at work, in whatever you're doing, whichever space you are in. Show up especially on those tough days. Show up especially on those boring, monotonous days filled with yawn-filled work.
The organization should create an environment where people have the freedom to express beliefs, or to put it more generally, to take risks. Isn't that what our freedom fathers did more than 7 decades ago? And they gave us a free nation. It's our duty to build that same kind of thinking and principles into our own institutions. And it starts from the top. The leaders of all institutions should build that culture within their senior management, the ability to allow the freedom of ideas and allow people to take some risk. This way, leaders create a culture that is formed through emulation rather than through fiat or by setting dictums.
If you can inculcate the sense of independence, if you can make them think on their feet, take decisions with half knowledge, even if it means going out on a limb and taking a risk, if you can give them that sense of trust that you are there to protect them with a safety net to catch you if you trip and fall, I think that would go a long way in making you a sought after leader.
We are standing tall on the shoulders of those visionaries, those who fought tirelessly for our freedom. Some of those who transformed ideas into actions, failed yet fought bravely, truly demonstrating superlative leadership. Every one of us have the responsibility and the opportunity to take forward this baton of inspirational leadership.